What is up, YouTube? If you don't know by now, your boy's big into anime, and I've been wanting to kind of tie it in to the YouTube channel. And what better way than to start a hot topic debate about Goku and Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z? But I want to still tie it into like fitness, and just like personal mindset and growth. So, you watch Dragon Ball Z growing up, it's all about Goku. He's the main character. And I used to think Goku was the better character, right? But as I've gotten older, as I've had a family, as I've gone through more things, I've slowly started to think and believe that Vegeta is actually the better character. And I'll tell you why. When you first meet Vegeta, right, that man is ruthless. He is prideful. He's got a fat ego. Like no one can be better than him, right? And not just a ego and pride in himself, but also in like his race, the Saiyan race, and his bloodline. In the same way that as I was younger, I had I was prideful. I had a little bit of an ego. I'm not gonna lie. Even to this day, like, and it's not a bad one, right? But I was prideful. Even to this day, sometimes I'll work out. Kayla will laugh because I'll be like, oh yeah, I worked out with so and so, and I'll be like, they were pretty strong. It's pretty impressive. And then I always end it with like, but they're not stronger than me though, and that's that pride that I have in myself. That's like, I can admit and be proud and, be like, oh, this person is strong. I can recognize that. That's awesome. But there's that little bit of pride that's like, but they're not stronger than I am. They're not bigger than me. You know what I mean? And I think that I can resonate a lot with Vegeta with that because even though he sees Goku, he sees these stronger opponents, he's still gonna, at the end of the day, go for the one, because at the end of the day, there is no one that is better than you. And that's like a mentality that you should have. You should always, I've talked about it multiple times on this channel of like, you should have that mindset of why not me? If someone else can do it, why can't I? Why are they better than me? Who says they're better than me? Who decided that? If you've ever watched Seven Deadly Sins, Escanor, great character, the lion, sin, and pride. But anyways, not to mention like throughout Dragon Ball Z, you look at a character like Vegeta, and he's ruthless, he's evil, and then you find out later it's like, well, maybe he's only evil because of someone else. Someone else did this to him and made him this way. And then as you progress through Dragon Ball Z, you get to see, he starts to change. He's not the strongest anymore. He loses a lot. Vegeta loses all the time. But there's a point you can look at where it's like he loses a lot, but guess what? At the end of the day, he gets his ass up and he keeps going. He keeps fighting. He keeps training. He keeps losing, but that doesn't stop him, right? And I have this like appreciation for that, where it's like Goku wins all the time, and main character, right? That's what you expect. But like to see you have someone that loses and loses and loses, and then the person that they're trying to get better than always chasing to get better than this person. They never do, right? Always losing. Goku's got to come in. He's got to win the fight, whatever, right? And there's something to look at with that. That even though you lose, all the time, everyone's going to lose, right? Mistakes, you lose here, you lose here. A lot of people just quit. They give up. There's a sense of you can't give up. You've got to get up. You've got to go back to training. You got to try again. You got to go back to training. You got to try again. And it's something of just doing it over and over and over again. Eventually, it's going to get you somewhere. But not only that, but there's a specific time in Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta becomes a family man. He gets a little soft, right? He gets taken over, and he gets the Majin symbol on his forehead. And the reason why is he's been so far behind Goku for so long that he was going to do whatever he can to go back to his old self. He wants to be ruthless. He wants to be powerful. He wants to be prideful. And he wants all these things that he is willing to give up what he's created from the past to where he is now to get that power, whatever it takes. And honestly, that I feel that so hard because now that I have a family, like obviously I've said it multiple times. I'm not where I used to be, and I plan on trying to get back there. But at the end of the day, so many things have changed over the years. I do have a family now. There are parts of me that's like whatever it takes to get back there, I don't care, right? But at the end of the day, the reality of it is am I willing to give up what I have to go back to that? And the answer is no. And in Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta does all these things to try to beat Goku, right? He gives up his sanity, he gives up his pride, he gives it all to try to go back to how he used to be. And at the end, he sacrifices himself. He realizes and he says, he's talking about Bulma, who's his wife, I do this for you. I do this for my son. And even you, Kakarot, and he sacrifices himself. And that just shows like you will never go back to how you used to be, no matter what. Things have changed. I have a family now, right? There's other things that I'm responsible for. But at the end of the day, even if I have a family, even if I fail, if I keep getting up and I keep coming back to the gym and I keep getting on my nutrition and I keep doing my cardio and I keep doing these things, eventually I'm going to progress. Eventually I'm going to win, you know? And if I got to sacrifice a little bit sometimes for my family, I got to sacrifice, some things that I want to do. Maybe I maybe I sacrifice going to the gym sometimes to spend more time with my family. That sacrifice is worth it because at the end of the day, without my family, what would I be? Right? I'd be some prideful, egotistical little shit running around here at 29, acting like I'm still 23 years old, right? Which, hey, if you are that, that's fine. No hate towards you. But I just feel like there's so much more with Vegeta that I look at now as an adult where I'm like, damn, I just resonate with it more. But let me know down in the comments, do you prefer Goku or Vegeta? And I mean in a literal sense, because obviously Goku's the main character. Fuck with Goku heavy, right? But who do you resonate more with? Goku or Vegeta? Let me know. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. And also, if you like these types of videos, I plan on trying to add a little more, anime content because I am a big anime guy. So let me know if you like it or not. Other than that, I appreciate you guys' time, and I'll catch you in the next one.